Good morning, everyone. It's another working Saturday here at the Synod, and we're still working through Module 3 Pathways. Now today, I have with me a neighbor of ours from across the creek, or ditch, was it? Or the Pacific, never mind. Manuel Beazley from New Zealand. Manuel, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Trudy, and greetings to everyone at the West Island of New Zealand.
Now, Manuel's here as one of the few laymen at the Synod. But Manuel, I know you have a very specific ministry back home. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So my role is as the Vicar for Maori, and Maori people are the indigenous people of New Zealand. Often people ask me, what does the Vicar do? And what does it mean to be a vicar? And I always keep saying to them that the Vicar for Maori is a professional cup of tea drinker. Because that speaks to the role. It's about being with people, relating with people, and just everywhere I go, people will always ask, would you like a cup of tea? And I'll always say yes. So the Vicar for Maori represents the bishop to the Maori people and represents them back to the bishop.
Right. And how long have you been in the role for?
I was appointed at the beginning of 2020, and then within a month or two we were sent straight into lockdown for COVID. So the first 12 months of ministry was a bit upended because of the COVID restrictions and lockdown, and being able to be present and close to the people was difficult. So we managed as best we could by Zoom. But since then, since we've come free from those restrictions, I've been out and about. The car that our bishop gave for me to use as part of the ministry, it had done 10 kilometres when they gave it to me.
Right.
And it's now done 160,000 kilometres.
Wow.
So that speaks to the idea of being with people all the time.
Absolutely. Yes, that's right. And Manuel, we've talked so much in the last 2 weeks. You know, we've had so many conversations at our tables and the interventions from people here in the room as well. What are some key points you want to take back for your ministry to the Maori people?
One of the things I think that we, particularly in New Zealand and perhaps also maybe in Australia, we sort of tend to think of ourselves so far away from everywhere else. And so being here in this Synod hall, speaking with people from all over the world, the Catholic world, it just gives a greater insight to the global and the universal element of the church.
That's right,
and one point that came up yesterday in our discussions was the idea of sharing resources.
Yes.
That we don't have to always keep reinventing the wheel, that if we develop a resource in New Zealand that might be helpful for other people around the world, then we should offer that. Yes. And likewise, other people around the world that have resources that we can share. And I think the opportunity of the Synod to come together, to be able to share whatever we have, to be generous with that.
Yes, that's great. Well, that's wonderful, Manuel. Thanks so much for that. Well, all of you, you've heard the bell ring, so that means our break is over and we've got to get back to our table conversations. Manuel, thank you for being with us today. And to all those watching, thank you for joining. This is Trudy, Dantis, an Australian participant at the Synod on Synodality.